afternoon, sir. My name is Sahanya, and along with me is Dharmaratne. Both of us are seniors at the WWPS of Royal College. We warmly welcome you to another episode of Wilderness Insight 2021, sir. So, to start off, sir, if you could briefly tell us about your life in school and how it influenced you to become this wonderful person you have become today.
First of all, thank you very much for inviting me. And it's a privilege and honor to work with you students. My school life, actually, I am from Piliyandala. First, early morning, we have traveled from Piliyandala to like around 6 o'clock to college. And then we had sort of a disciplined way of learning. It's totally different to university and my postgraduate. So we had a different experience. And also I was partly working with a lot of projects like you all. I was involving in extracurricular activities, organizing events, and I was very actively worked with art circle. And also I work with some eco-friendly organizations, both inside the school as well as outside the school. I was representing as a young person working in a young volunteers committee at that time. So good, I experienced a lot, and that helped me to come out of the society and do become a lecturer and become a doctorate in civil engineering and became an architect, so on and so. So everything which helped me to come along this path.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much. And yeah, thank you very much for that, sir. Yeah, Netvin.
Sorry, I was muted. So, what are grey lands with an example from Sri Lanka?
Well, coming back to that topic, there are a lot of grey lands in Sri Lanka. Grey lands, by definition, lands that are abandoned by people. There's no value. So, simple definition, those are called dead lands. That means we used, but none of the others can't use anymore. For an example, oil refinery center, or else some of the industrial zones in Sri Lanka, they were well occupied. After that, due to the environment pollution they have done, we cannot use it anymore. Garbage dump yards, there are a lot of garbage dump yards. We used to dump polythene, vegetables, so on and so. But after dumping, sometimes these dump yards fallen back to us. So we don't know when it will fall or when it will spread. We don't know the scenario inside, but we keep dumping. At the end of the day, those lands become gray lands, not usable, not environment friendly, and they are leaching and chemicals on and so. To your questions, there are a lot of grey lands in Sri Lanka. There are a lot of valuable lands around the Colombo Fort. We can't use them, they can't use them. There are a lot of dump yards, Meethudamulla, Paradiyana, and Haputale, we have a dump yard. Badulla, there's a dump yard. Kandy, there's a dump yard. Most of these dump yards are difficult to bring back to nature or use it for humankind.
Yes, sir. So our next question is kind of connected to that, sir. If you could kind of tell us how we could convert grey lands into habitable lands.
Yes, first of all, we have to think, we have to audit what is inside, what sort of garbage, what sort of contamination happened to those lands. And then we have to find a mechanism either to avoid it or remove it, or else we have to use it for some other use. So my experience mostly with garbage dump yards. So the easiest solution is you cover it with polythene and let it grow or let it produce methane. Methane is a valuable gas source for energy. So then once you cover it, you have to press it to this chemical reaction to happen. At the meantime, you have to check what kinds of leaching are happening, chemical leaching, what type of contamination is coming out of these covered dump yards, and then you have to cover it with soil. Once you cover it with soil, you get enough pressure to do all of these chemical reactions, digestion process, and on top of the soil layer, you can start nourishing the flora and fauna again.
Sir, further asking on that topic, what kind of biodiversity would be habitable for humans in these grey lands?
I don't get you, like what kinds
Sir,
of
what types of animals and plants should be considered in order to make these lands habitable?
Yeah, it's like this. Like for an example, if I say Kardiana, we can assess what kinds of biodiversity was there, because those regions, zones have different biodiversity. So for an example, Kardiana is famous for pelican attraction, and there are a lot of endemic cats, plants. So ideal scenario is you repeat the same situation back to the back after the conservation. So for an example, at the very early stages, we used to bring back the existing natural setting, things like primary plants, flora and fauna, and then we bring very simple types of animals like fish and cats, things like that. Then you can, after that, you can start bringing sophisticated biosystems like we'll say big animals. You can bring back to them later. It's merely about native environment, native biodiversity. We cannot alienate something else and do it there.
Yes, sir. So
Yes.
basically, we should start off small, then go on to bigger animals and.
Yeah, it's like a 6 years, 7 years of process.
Yes, sir. So if you could kindly tell us what you have been doing towards solving this problem, sir. Yes, bringing awareness or anything regarding this matter,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, good question. So I'm an architect, I'm chartered architect. Also, I'm having a civil engineering background. So my input is there with planning. So I was helping with developing these building structures and mechanism for them to restore. But still, project is a bit of stake these days. We are trying our level best. We did a very recent addition. We used to collect all the polythene and plastic inside the dump yard and use it for building roadways, road networks. So we simply melt plastic and produce material like tar and pour into the road and develop set of roads. In a way, we restore, or we instead of keeping it in the dump yard, we take it back and use it in the roadway, and it's safe for the environment, safe for us as well. Still is going on, ongoing project, still lot to do in terms of biodiversity, but we are doing slowly.
That's wonderful, sir. Sir, could you explain how we as the Wilderness and Wildlife Protection Society of Royal College could contribute to environmental problems like this?
I think you are young and energetic. Best thing is for you to do is protect the wildlife around these dump yards, around of these grey lands. Because if you really study, most of these dump yards are good natural environments, even though they are abundant. For example, if you really study the history of Mitotamulla, if you really study the history of Kardiana, they had lush environment. greenery. But since we cannot use them, we have put our garbage on top of these natural biosettings and abandon those lands. So I think best thing for you to do, make an awareness saying that these lands are not abandoned. These lands are also part of our nature, our environment. So by an awareness, you can do series of photographic surveys, because good example is there's an endemic cat living in Karadiana dump yard, which is not documented properly. So if you can document those kinds of scenarios and showcase them to society, see this is the thing that you are doing. And I have a picture I'll share with you later. That cat is eating dump coming from cancer hospital. So those kinds of things are very risky for our environment, because we don't know what kinds of thing mutant could happen after such a process.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Surely look into that. So, sir, could you explain the economical benefits of turning these grey lands into eco parks?
Yes, in general, land is a resource. So every abundant land is a resource for us. It's an advantage and good for us if we can take the land back into the economy. And if you look at these kinds of projects, dump yard conversions, it's really good because you can produce methane. You know, these days we have a gas issue. I don't know about you, but we are all struggling to find gas. But most of these dump yards, if you convert them properly, if you conserve them properly, they can produce tons of methane. Those are just abundant, and there's a very good economic resource. Not only that, you can, once you convert these dump yard into eco parks or gardens, things like that, we can use them for society to enjoy the environment and study the biodiversity, and use them as a recreational area for functions, or even their exercises, so on and so, like theater, like eco parks. We can convert and we can produce a lot of economic out of it.
Yes, sir. Could you tell us if you have been working on any other projects regarding this matter, or anything regarding protecting the environment, and how COVID-19 has affected all this?
Well, I'm doing a lot of projects these days, a lot of projects in terms of different scales, hotels, construction projects, housing scheme, houses, townships, town center developments, on and so. Yes, COVID affected, but not 100%. We are working. Only thing is, people or laborers, the working force is not ready to come back to Colombo and work. Other than that, there's a inflation. Construction cost is moved up due to the economic crisis. But we are doing it okay. We are doing it slowly. Some of the interesting projects for you are, we designed a new cottage at Vilpattu, and these days I'm working on a project near Yala for us. So it's very risky for us to work there because sometimes elephants are coming nearby. So likewise, I'm doing a lot of projects. One project near Chilo Bird Sanctuary, where visitors can look at new birds, migrating birds coming to that is AWildernessInsight. And also I'm using a lot of eco-friendly materials which not harm the environment, native materials made out of soil, bricks, and even the roofing material I'm using native local materials where it can bring back to nature, destroyed by nature without harming or without putting huge carbon footprint.
Yes, sir. Sir, we know that you have a PhD in civil engineering, if I'm not mistaken. Sir, how did you get the passion to conserve wildlife? Where did that interest from you come from?
Actually, it's not coming from civil engineering. I'm an architect. Our tasks is to build buildings to safeguard human. But if you really look at it in conceptually, we are doing something against the environment. So even our degree name itself is Bachelor of Built Environment. So built environment is something that we build environment. But on contrary to that thing, if you can, instead of doing built environment, what if you can use the environment itself to safeguard us? So that sort of conceptual idea I developed. So what if you can bring the nature back into the house and or create sort of a dialogue in between? So it would be really great. That's where I started loving nature as well as construction. And even my PhD is about earth construction, where instead of using these cement technologies, what if you can use earth technologies? For an example, most of our historic buildings are based on earth materials. Most of our ancestors, they lived in earth materials, not concrete, not cement blocks, so on and so. They had varichibitti, clay houses, and once they did, once their lifespan is over, all of these houses are taken back by the nature. There's no clue, there's no identity, there's nothing left over. So all are harmony, gone back to nature, and there's a balance. But these days, architects, civil engineers, all of us, we destroy that balance. So most of these our buildings right now, they will live for another 400, 500 years years. So that will destroy our environment, that will destroy our nature as well. So my passion is, no, if you can create a dialogue and create a sort of a new material that can keep, also that can help to environment grow, that can help to biodiversity grow, so on and so. So that is my passion.
So that's very good to know. I think that's it for today then. Sir, once again, thank you for your time, sir. We appreciate it. And thank you for teaching us more about grey lands and how we should convert it into eco parks. We wish you all the best for your future endeavors, and have a good day.
Thank you very much, Pita. All the very best.
Thank you, sir.